Good morning.
Good morning.
Please sit down. Firstly, I want to express my sincere greetings and welcome. This place now nearly 56 years. After 59 April, when I reached India as a political asylum, 1 year, exactly 1 year spent at Mussoorie. Then summer 60, I come this place. So major portion of my life spent this place now. Since my age, I think 26, now 80 years old. Now which place where I will die, I don't know. Here or some other places, I don't know. But the important is, while you're alive, so day by day, your life should be meaningful. Meaningful means, if possible, serve other, help other. If not, restrain harming other. So that's sensible life, meaningful life. So then, when I look back, last 56 years, and then furthermore, I think except my childhood, I think most of my life, I think I spent, I think quite meaningful. And much time also wasted. Particularly when I was, because of the teenage, not much pay attention for study. No question of practice. Study also is not much pay attention. So I think some years I wasted. Otherwise, I think I carry my life, I think very meaningful. So you also same human being. You should not think Dalai Lama is something special. Don't think that. We are same human being. Emotionally, mentally, physically, we are same. As a matter of fact, we all part of 7 billion human beings on this planet. So not like ancient time. Ancient time is each continent more or less self-sufficient. And within the continent, each country or even each village are more or less self-sufficient. So not much connection. Now today's world, heavily interdependent. So that's the reality, new reality. And global warming makes difference because of the global warming makes some effect on people's life. Entire world facing same way. So global economy, also no national boundary, no religious boundary. And I think the technology, computer, these also is no national boundary, no religious boundary, right? No boundary of color, isn't it? So all these factors bring us, come together. So century-old our thinking is too much sort of emphasis on the secondary level of differences, color, races, and faith, different nationality, different country. That now old way of thinking. Now time come, we have to think sameness or oneness of 7 billion human beings. Then particularly now, current sort of situation, a lot of killing, a lot of fear, not come on the basis of we are same human, because of the basis of on human level. No. All these problems, you see, come on the basis of secondary level of differences. When we go the first level, we are same human being. Tiger or lion, you see, kill human being. Sometimes we feel very sorry. Sometimes surprise. That's understandable. But then, a human being killing another human being. And sometimes really, instead of sort of the feeling of pain, others were concern of other persons sort of pain, you feel happy. Oh, I killed 10 people, 100 people. And sometimes the people consider, you see, people who killed over 100,000, then we call hero. All these, obviously, with too much emphasis on secondary level of differences. So a lot of problem happen because of with too much emphasis on secondary level of differences. Now there is no other way except we must go first level, we are same human being. Clear? That's my conviction. Wherever I meet people, talk, I always say emphasis, we are same human being. Like, I think, big garden, we need different flower with different color, different size. That helpful to create beautiful, attractive garden. But all this must remain together. Like that, we, people, different color, different sort of society, different language. It's like different flowers, like that. But we all have to live together, happily. If one flower, stands out. 맞다. 야 시우저 야채볼 샤지 메다스나 동나 고고주 선리도.
When one flower gets too big, so that the others around it are not able to grow well, then we need to take that off.
So even flower, you see, no pain, you see, no like you see, human rights sort of concept, but you see, even flower, I think, kasoda live more kasoda in a harmonious way, then beautiful. So we human being, 7 million human being, I think, should remain harmoniously with one's own unique cultural heritage, unique color of this. That's beautiful. And faith. Okay, each faith. I think basically all major sort of tradition, all major religious tradition, you see, talking, practice of love, all same. Judaism, Christianity, Islam, many Hinduism, same. Except, like all you see have this, something like there's a basic sort of nature of flower like that. All major religious tradition. I think all major religious tradition, when they describe their sort of God, nobody say our God is full of anger. Nobody say that, isn't it? Full of love. So that actually, you see, they try to bring conviction, follower of these religious tradition. The sacredness of love, or practice love, or in order to bring enthusiasm. The all is to say, oh, God is infinite love. Wonderful. If anyone, you see, say, any religion say, our God is full of anger, then the follower of that God is worthy to kill more people. But Allah, infinite love. Jesus Christ, infinite love. Isn't it? So, I think, so all major religious tradition, the religious aspect, I always telling the all major religious tradition, three aspects. Number one aspect is religion. That is message of love, practice of love. And for that is also, you see, practice of forgiveness, practice of tolerance, practice of contentment. You see, too much greed sometimes you can develop this negative emotion. So practice of contentment, and practice of self-discipline. All major religious traditions say same way, same thing. Then philosophical aspect, there's differences. Major religious tradition believe creator. Sankhya philosophy, ancient, I think 3,000 years old, India sort of one very, very ancient tradition, Sankhya philosophy. One part, no concept of creator. Then Jainism. You from India, originally. Where you born? Chennai. Recently I went Chennai. A lot of rains there. I think some Chennai people make because of complaint to me, or Dalai Lama come, a lot of rains come. So a lot of because of the discomfort. So in this country, I think Sankhya philosophy, I think over 3,000 years, very old. One part of Sankhya philosophy, no concept of creator. Then Jain philosophy, Mahavira, no concept of creator. And Buddha, no concept of creator. So only these three major religious traditions of India, you see, their philosophical views, no creator. So self-creation. So that's non-theistic religion. All rest of the major religious tradition, all little differences here and there, but otherwise basically all except creator. But then we have to ask, what the purpose of this different philosophy? Then same. To different people, bring enthusiasm to practice of love, practice of compassion. You see, these different philosophical views, according to different mental disposition, these philosophical differences come. You see, concept of God, creator, very powerful to bring enthusiasm to practice of love, compassion, wonderful. Then similarly, those non-theistic religion, you see, their main sort of theory is law of causality. If you do good, you get benefit. Good, bad means entirely based on happiness and suffering. So anything which related with suffering is bad. Anything which related with because of the happiness is good. So therefore, you see, since you are your own creator, self-creation. So if you do good thing to help other, you get benefit. If you do something negative towards other, you get negative consequences. So that also is, to some people, that way of approach, very, very helpful. All responsibility, you see, because of that, put on our own shoulder. Otherwise, sometimes it's God's grace. I carry some different things. Now these days, I sort of have jokes, jokingly, you see, telling people, you see, many of our sort of the troublemaker, they also you see, pray to God. So if they have the opportunity to sing like Burmese or Buddhist terrorist, if you see Buddha comes, or they certainly have to pray to Buddha, then of course they follow of Allah, some problems, killing. They all pray to Allah, and Christians also pray to God like that. So if we see opportunity to see our God, Jesus Christ, or Buddha, Muhammad, and we ask, please bring peace. And I think these the great teacher may respond, or these violence or these problems, I not created, but you created. So since all these problems you created and use free will, I give you out of compassion, free will. You utilize wrong way. So therefore, all these problems you created. So it is your responsibility to solve this problem. These problems, since you created, but pray to me to solve this. Illogical. What do you think? So therefore, I think the theistic religion concept of creator very powerful. According to that sort of belief, all human beings are son of God, son of that kind of infinite love. So we, if not practice love, we are quite shameful. Our Father, our Creator is such a wonderful, compassionate, isn't it? So very powerful. Then, to some people, this, as I already mentioned, is a self-creation. Also very, very, very powerful. So, different philosophy, we should look purpose of this different philosophy, then same. So, the aim or purpose is same. So, different method, different way, doesn't matter. Like different food, South Indian food, North Indian food, or European food. It's a different color, different taste. But nobody quarrel. I love this food. You should love this. We cannot say, isn't it? So all agree, different variety of food, same purpose, to nourish our body. So no problem. Then, one aspect of different tradition, I feel cultural heritage. I was told, so when Mahavira come, at that time, immense animal sacrifice. So even you see, such sort of was the amount of animal sacrifice. So it affect the economy, the area. Too many animals killed. So at that sort of circumstances, Mahavira come. Because of the cultural because of the circumstances, that kind of sort of was the habit. So he particularly emphasized non-violence and vegetarianism. So similarly, I think the Judaism, Old Testament, you see, eye for eye, some kind of sort of little bit sort of tough, because of the circumstances at that time. The Jewish people at that time, you see, a lot of hostile these things. So I think because of that circumstances, you see, in sacred sort of, the sacred book, you see some emphasis. So similarly, Muhammad, Quran, you see that area, more nomad area, isn't it? Arab, Saudi Arabia, this area. So the nomad, no sort of permanent sort of residence or something, and moving here and there, and a little bit of lawlessness easily, you see, happen. So in his teaching, some emphasis about Sharia law. I feel that. And then Buddhism also. You see, although Buddha give equal right, male and female, but a little sort of also the distinction. Male should first, female next. Although his basic sort of teaching, bhikshu and bhikshuni, same right. But when we get that, bhikshu should first. So these, I think, social social sort of tendency or social sort of habit like that. If Buddha say at that time, the bhikshuni, the elder bhikshuni come first before bhikshu, then I think local people maybe, Buddha, a little bit sort of unusual or something. So sometimes I'm Buddhist. I also, you see, I'm sort of, I want, you see, more sort of discussion about Vinaya roles, which is common, all Buddhist countries, Burma, Thailand, Sri Lanka, so on. So we have to sort of discuss according to today's reality. So some people, some my friend, like the Irish president, Mary Robinson. So one time in our meeting, she described me feminist Dalai Lama. I sort of mentioned, female should take more active role in order to promote love, compassion, like that. So then she mentioned me feminist Dalai Lama, like that. So in any way, you see, the cultural aspect, I think frankly speaking, all major religions sort of, the certain aspect, according to the society at that time, the habit of the society or culture or way of life of the society at that time, feudal society. So in the religious tradition also a little bit sort of influence of the Kasachukti, the feudal system. So therefore, the Dalai Lama institution, you see, last 400 years, 4 centuries, you see, they automatically become some kind of ruler of Tibet. This, I think, the feudal sort of way of thinking. So therefore, since 2001, I already sort of retired, semi-retired position. Then 2011, I totally retired from political responsibility. And not only myself retired, but also 4-century-old tradition, Dalai Lama institution automatically become head of both temple and spirituality, now that formally ended. So I not only feminist Dalai Lama, but also revolutionary Dalai Lama. So like that. So these, I think we have to act according to reality, isn't it? It is wrong to say, oh, it is our tradition, our tradition. It's wrong. Of course, like faith, yes. I think one occasion on our sort of the Tibetan head, because of the head Lama of our tradition, one occasion gathered, some my friend, asked me, oh, the concept of shunyata is something relevant when Buddha was there. So now, 2,500 years passed, so may not be relevant to today's world. Then I respond to that person, oh, modernization and modernity mainly, meant the external things, constructions, way of life, facility, or these things. Modernity, not much change our emotion. As far as emotion is concerned, the 21st century's people's emotion and Buddha's times people's emotion more or less same. So a certain concept which is a counterforce this destructive emotion, still relevant, isn't it? I think like myself, I think one example. Usually you see Tibetan, and also the Ladakis or the members in these also is a fond. It's in different hat, right? Different hat. They consider that's the important part of preservation of their tradition. It's silly. What really need is this knowledge. It's come from Nalanda. Preservation of this knowledge is very important. The different shape of head and different color of head, not much important. Some people used to consider these are something very important. I think that's, I think also that, again, I may say, a little bit silly, like that. So therefore, so cultural aspect, I think, like Buddhist, the Bhikshuni, the highest ordination, female. See, we last, I think, now several years, from time to time, we discuss with Burmese monks and a Thai monk or Chinese monk. So not unanimous sort of decision happen. So still we are thinking from time to time. Now, you see, we want to further sort of discussion these things. So like that. So I think some modification, cultural aspect, sometimes I feel relevant to look the reality like that. So important then on human level, in human level, you see, we really need some effort to educate moral ethics. Moral ethics means warm-heartedness, respect others' life, without talking any religion, not talking heaven, not talking hell, not talking for Buddhist nirvana or these things. Simply talking how to build happy world and all those troubles, how to reduce these bombing, terror, because of the violence, counter-violence will not solve permanently. We must find another way, from youngster, children, no differences on the basis due to different faith, different nationality. Children play together, I think that kind of spirit we must preserve. And education, you see, should help that basic human sort of nature. See, our brothers, sisters, play together. I think we can easily ask these children, kindergarten, very young children, do you prefer your mother's smile or your mother's angry face? Oh, automatically, immediately they say, oh, smile. Oh, fortunately, my mother, we never saw angry face. Our mother, really very, very kind mother. But my father, different. So few occasions, I also used to get some blessing from my father like that. So sometimes I also feel anger towards my father. Like, and so we are. Because 탭지 되기는. 견사도 대쇼. 그래서 가슴이 열어. 가슴을. So actually, now I think over a decade, with some, with full cooperation, with some scientists and some educationists, see, we already worked how to introduce in secular education field, how to, what is the best way to introduce education about secular ethics. I must clarify, secular according Indian understanding. According Indian understanding, India's constitution itself based on secular. So according Indian understanding, secular means respect all religion. In the West, secular means a little bit disrespect, isn't it? So Indian understanding not like that. Respect all religion, and not only religious people, but also is a respect to non-believer. I think that's very relevant now, today's world. Out of 7 billion human beings, over 1 billion non-believer. So that's fact, that's reality. So according that understanding, so secular. Recently I met some professors in Delhi. So I discussed about that. Then they suggest to me the word secular sometimes create confusion. So they prefer some different word. So I told them, yes, now this is just because of draft. So any suggestions, most welcome. So I also want to give you, not each, but I think to group that sort of draft. So please think and look, check, and any suggestion, most welcome. Perhaps next year we will going to have some kind of, firstly, national level in India, then maybe in America, with the help of Karsadi, a Mind Life Institution. You see, we are going to have some sort of a seminar about that. So any suggestions, most welcome. Mm-hmm. I hope any suggestion, complete change that book, then too much. This one. So they do push on Christo. Nini. So 3 guru, 2 books. So that's I want to share with you. You as a young people, except there's a few people, exception. Otherwise, most of you, you also, I think, I usually describe the generation of 20th century and the generation of 21st century. So I'm the generation of 20th century. Now that century already gone. So I'm not alone, perhaps here. And there also, I think, the Ngakwala, I think, looks like you also belongs to 20th century's generation, isn't it? So most of you, the generation of 21st century, so you have the opportunity to build happier, peaceful, ultimately compassionate world through education, not through prayer. So I want you to share this book and please think more seriously. Okay. Now some questions.
Tashidale, Your Holiness, in the teachings this September, you mentioned that you have only experienced moments of emptiness. Would you please describe your first personal experience with emptiness, or tell us a story that would help us relate to the experience of emptiness?
That's my secret. Although I publicly mentioned. Since I think my age, around 20, 16, 17, 20, I already developed interest about emptiness. And then one of my Censho, one Mongolian, top scholar, because he himself, you see, very much sort of Kasota thinking about Shunyata. So that also I think one factor. So then after I came to India, I restudy all these important texts, particularly Madhyamaka text and Pranjaparamita text. Then I think in 70, maybe, I think early 70, one occasion, while I am reading about self, the Lama Tsongkhapa's one important book. You see, he mentioned the word, the very word, or after he explained something, then self is, therefore, self is mere, designated, mere name. That moment, actually, I got some kind of lightning, really. Not pain, something shocking here. That later I found. So since then, I say, no self. That feeling, there. So when I saw other people, you see, just like body, only body. No, as usually we feel, oh, that being. But that kind of feeling not come when I look matters or minds. So clearly it shows there's some understanding, some experience of Dhamitara Nietzsche Kansaga Dhami Rakpati.
So within the selflessness, there are the two divisions, gross and subtle ones. So that the experience that I had had to do with the gross one, experience of selflessness.
If subtle one, you should develop, then should be same feeling towards object, towards mind, all these. Right? So then, perhaps I think 2000, around 2000, or 90s, I think mostly 2000. Then there's an understanding about the mere name. Nothing objectively exists. Nothing independently exists. The quantum physics also very helpful. Nothing, as far as matter is concerned, nothing objectively exists. very similar. So now that thinking, I think now last 10, 15 years, I think my perception towards everything much sort of changed. Things there, mere designation. Nothing independently exists. So first indication, the intensity of different negative emotion much reduced. But still, I never sort of claim I have the full understanding or full experience about shunyata. But little bit, because above zero way. I think that's the way, step by step, step by step. So like that. So it is really, I think the view of Kasota, the Kimatawu Sati, the one is realistic.
So, in Buddhist text, there is mention of things being like a mirage or magical illusion. So that's quite realistic.
I want to tell, you see, the Kasajuti, the 21st generation's friend. Since, you see, the Buddhist sort of, the Kasota, practice, the understanding of absence of independent existence is not just mere theory, but is actually counterforce all negative emotion, because all destructive negative emotion based on exaggeration, right? Mental projection. Mental projection comes the grasp, because of the feeling, grasping, things are objectively there. Good, absolute good there. Bad, absolute bad there. So that creates exaggeration. Another my friend, American I think scientist, Aaron Beck, very old now. He told me, through decades his sort of experience dealing with people who have some sort of mentally disturbed, he found when anger develops, the object appears very negative, but 90% of that negativeness is mental projection. He's not Buddhist, or even religious people, religious person, but scientist, experienced scientist. So that is his sort of finding, and Nagarjuna's sort of explanation is exactly the same. So therefore, now point is, please pay some attention. Those people who not only study about quantum physics, but some kind of conviction, nothing, of course, up to now, only matters, not consciousness or mind, these things. The matter, you see, nothing objectively exists. Those sort of quantum physicists who really believe that, who have full sort of conviction out of their research work, judge these people, the intensity of attachment, anger, fear, maybe some differences. There you see the practice of thinking these not as a religious thing or meant for reduce destructive emotion, but logically the emotion based on grasping independent existence. Therefore, through quantum physics, now nothing independently exists or objectively exists. Maybe some impact in their mind. I'm wondering. I told some of my friend, some physicist, quantum physicist I mentioned, So I want to share. You young people, so you have enough time to watch with these people and some discuss. Okay. Yes. Next question.
Tashinele. So we were wondering, how do we find the balance between helping refugees adjust to our culture while maintaining their own culture?
Karsa. As I mentioned earlier, firstly, as a human being, you see, I think because of basically we are same human being. So you see different people, different country, you see taking these refugees. And they also, you see, feel happy so long, you see, no immediate danger. Because, you see, they all, both sides, you see, the sense of same oneness of human being. Meantime, the secondary level, as I mentioned earlier, different flower, different color. It's better to keep differences. So therefore, it's a preservation of their own culture, including their language. I really admire Chinese. Wherever their sort of the bigger number you see remain, they eventually, you see, they create so-called Chinatown like that. The generations, they preserve their own culture. And many places like Vietnamese, many places Buddhist temples there. So they preserve their faith, their culture. Meantime, you see, they carry also the daily life. One time, in Vancouver, mayor, on Chinese, I think many years ago, you see, he told me when he first came to Canada, in his pocket $10, and through his hard work, then some education, then eventually become mayor. So these very practical people, hardworking, like that. Meantime, you should preserve their own culture. That's very good. That's my view. Okay. Then, so sometimes I teasing my Indian friend, you know, the Chinese, wherever they live, bigger number, Chinatown. England or America, in many places, large number of Indian, but no India town. Why? I think worthwhile to create India town. And there, India's 1,000-year-old tradition, ahimsa, non-violence, and religious harmony, that now time come must share with the rest of the world. And this country, wonderful. Religious harmony, wonderful. Occasionally some problem here and there. That's understandable. I usually is telling, over 1 billion population, there must be some mischievous people. Otherwise not a human society. So therefore, some mischievous activity is always there. That will not represent India. India, I think, over 2,000 years, beside their own homegrown religions, different philosophy, but all major world religious traditions settled here, last 2,000 years. So basically, very harmonious, wonderful, like that. So this, I think now, this should, I think our Prime Minister, I think maybe, hopefully, so not only just economy, but this real sort of India's tradition, which is relevant, humanity, I think should should promote, should share with more people. Then next question.
Hello, Your Holiness. On behalf of all the Antioch students, we wanted to thank you for allowing us to sit here and ask you questions, but we are wondering, what is the nature of mind and how do we realize it?
Karsa. Now, it is quite sort of useful. We usually, particularly materialistic world, we almost relying completely the sensorial experiences. So some kind of satisfaction through sensorial experience, that we consider at topmost important. So material, nice sukh, nice sight, and nice sound, and smell, touch, and taste and touch, including sex. So then, I think just fully utilize about the sensorial experience, then we are not much differences than animal. The sight, power, hearing, I think some animal much better than our sort of, because of the hearing or because of seeing. I think definitely elephant is in their nose, go like that. I think few miles they can smell. We, I think several feet. Right? I think difficult to feed. So we have to. So then, sometime, I think many years ago, one occasion, of course, one cat. One time, you see, my cat used to sit here. Then I noticed the eyeball, eyeball, little bit of looks bumbushua. So, some way, extendedly, I noticed the cat's eyeball, the other side, I can see something through the sort of the ball. So it looks bigger than the reality. So, because of a magnified glass like that. So therefore, I think their eyesight, I think much stronger than we. I don't know. Distance, I don't know. So like that. So, but we have, you see, this wonderful brain. Since we are human beings, we must utilize these, I think, if you accept Creator, the God's, I think, best gift is our special brain. So we must utilize that. So that, then, the five senses of organs are something like medium way. The information come through that way, the judgment carried by sixth mind, mental level. So now mental level, in order to utilize mental level, now intelligence, reasons, these are related with mental level, not because of the organs of consciousness. Right? So now it is quite useful, quite interesting, you see, to think more about that sixth mind or mental. So for that, usually our mind, something like carton, the through senses of organs, color, or these forms, and pains and pleasure. That's mainly mental level. So in order to know, you see, that very nature of our mind, these carton should be stopped, should be removed. So that means now you completely stop the activities of five senses of organs. Then mental level, try to stop past memory and certain sort of anticipation of future. So all these try to stop deliberately. Then you may feel something empty. Then try to maintain that level bit longer, and get used. Then you get the feeling of mere illumination survey. Mere luminosity of mind. So then that at the beginning may not remain long, but through familiarize such kind of practice, then you able to remain longer. That's one way. But then mere just to recognize or experience mere luminosity of mind, it won't, reduce negative emotion. So you need altruism, practice of altruism, which is common to all major religious traditions. Then wisdom side, understanding about nothing independently existence. That's Madhyamaka philosophy or Buddhist tradition. Then also, you see, that level of mind, while the senses of organs fully active, they deliberately try to reduce their activities just to maintain the mental level. And that practice, if you gain some experience, then at the time of dreaming, you remember your daily practice. Then in dream time, try to meditate that kind of mental luminosity. Dream time, if you try to meditate that, and then dream gradually, deliberately, so cease. Then deeper sort of experience in dream, sleep time, go like that. So these more related with Tantrayana practice. So maybe Ngapala may have some experience. I have not much experience. I can explain, but if you ask me experience, then zero. Next question.
Given that we live in a world of diverse beliefs that is also filled with systematic injustice, what advice do you have for translating compassion into action?
That actually I already mentioned. Actually, the Chambada Chawasa, the first level can Yungimato, second level can Mindua.
So when you go to the basic humanity, human level, then we can talk about the practice of or experience of love and compassion. Not when we.
I think genuine compassion, genuine sort of love, I think touched on the basic level. We are same human being. If that practice there, then your enemy, as far as their attitude is concerned, negative, but still they are human brothers, sisters. So they deserve our love, our compassion, because they are same human being. On secondary level, my religion, my faith, my nation, sometimes you call patriotism survey. patriotism. Then I think I love my countrymen. Maybe not genuine love, but mixed with attachment. So attachment is biased. So more love your own countrymen, more negative feeling to other. Similarly, more sort of touch, more sort of love, your sort of fellow of your own faith, actually attachment, that automatically bring hate others. That's not genuine love, genuine practice. Right? So, as I mentioned earlier, you see, the genuine love, as with children, they don't care what others' faith, what other sort of color or nationality. So that's unbiased love. Unbiased love, not oriented about others' attitude, but the being itself. Biased love is then based on secondary level of differences. That's mainly attachment. And very much related with their attitude, sense, same faith. So you feel something closeness. That's attachment. Okay. Next.
Teshidale. We were wondering if you have any advice for us as young educators as we begin our careers in education.
France. I think other subject, I think you know better. I don't know.
If I have to talk about and teach you mathematics, I won't be able to. I don't even know the multiplications.
That's okay.
제작에 quantum 시고를 들으는데 이 colors 말이야. 지 마시면서 이 quantum 시에서는 카오스 말이야.
So perhaps when I talk about quantum physics, it may sound quite bold.
지시행으로. 사이언스는 지시행으로.
Because I don't know mathematics. So when you talk about science and physics particularly, you need to know mathematics.
So I think, as I mentioned earlier, today's existing education system is something lacking. Most of these troublemakers, as far as modern education is concerned, they are quite well educated. Their education causing more trouble. So definitely something lacking. And then I think some of my friends, I think as far as modern education is concerned, very well educated. And some of them billionaire. But as a person, very unhappy person. So education failed, existing modern education failed to bring inner peace. So therefore, now that book already you see, not just my idea, you see, as a result of discussion with many scientists, I think over 30 years, and meeting and contact and conversation, then many agree the modern education oriented about material value, external things. As far as internal value is concerned, usually we rely on religion. Then today's world, out of 7 billion human beings, over 1 billion non-believer. And among the believer also, you see some little bit strange believer also there. I think lack of moral principle. So therefore, you see, we have to make every effort, to educate people about inner value, not relying on religion. Now then what else? What is the method? It's Indian tradition, secular way, not talking religion. I usually use telling, use scientific finding. I think I want to share. Some scientists, according to their sort of the experiment, for example, very young infant child, about a few months old, language not yet developed. So to such infant, because infants are child, show cartoon. One cartoon, two children play together. When that cartoon show to that child, feel happy, smile. When a cartoon, two children create some obstacle each other, negative way, the child feel unhappy. So some scientists, because of that, basic human nature is more compassionate. We love friendship. We love compassion or love. We like love or friendship. So basic human nature is positive. And then also, it's a constant anger, constant fear, actually eating our immune system. Anger, fear, these actually immediately disturb our peace of mind and gradually ruin our physical health. So therefore, we can conclude basic human nature is positive. I think that is the basis of our hope. If basic human nature is negative, then no hope. Since basic human nature is positive, therefore, we can use human intelligence to promote this basic human nature. Okay, isn't it? What do you think? Traditionally, you Indian, our teacher, all our knowledge here, come from India. You also Indian. How?
Well, parents are Fiji.
Fiji. Right. There are some Indian community.
Yeah, originally from Bengal.
Bengal. So originally, Indian. So therefore, all our knowledge come from India. So our relation, Tibetan, Indian, traditionally, relation between teacher and student. More precisely, ancient Indian, not modern Indian. Now it seems, I think, the knowledge about ancient Indian was a treasure. I think students have more than teacher. So therefore, the secular way to educate the moral ethics, the simple way, I think we already use in that book. We already how to educate from kindergarten up to university level. So here first, I think very rich knowledge about our mind, about our emotion in ancient Indian, the psychology. The modern psychology, compare ancient Indian psychology, modern psychology looks like kindergarten level. Really, Indian the knowledge, the different kind of emotion, different kind of mind is really highly developed. So now time comes to share with the rest of the world. not as a religion, just simply science of mind, like that. So, as a teacher, please think and firstly read this book, and then, discuss with your friend, and any suggestions, most welcome. Then?
We'll have the last question.
Yes.
Hi. What advice would you give to the committed Dharma practitioner who may still hold biases ingrained within them from their secular and religious education of their youth?
그래서 쉬어봐.
now church against
어.
because of the church that church my people how they got the you and
I think Dharma, the Sanskrit word, Dharma means protect, protection. Right? So, from what protect? Suffering, pain. Firstly, yourself, and also other. The way to protect suffering is actually, finally, our mind, our emotion. Emotion, any sort of harmful actions, physical action, verbal action, come out of negative emotion. So I think that basically the demarcation, violence, non-violence, is not on because of the appearances, right? But motivation. Motivation, compassionate motivation, loving kindness, then even harsh word is non-violence. Sincere parent. I think my father, a little bit disciplined to me, I think out of concern. So I can say non-violent. Appears a little bit like that. Then, out of the motivation, try to cheat, try to take advantage. And you just smile, nice word. You see, this appears non-violence, but actually violence, because try to harming other. So therefore, so Dharma means any motivation, any action which help other is dharmic action. Dharma work. Dharma work. Dharma not necessarily some kind of hours prayer and thinking money. Some of our monks, you see, I think day-long prayer. I think some of them, although not all, I think some of them may think, when we completed that prayer, how much was that?
how much money we would receive.
Sometimes I usually see sort of because of the teasing or jogging Tibetan. We often use to recite Om Mani Padme, this mantra, you know. So a little bit of hurry, then we sounds looks like money. That really looks money like that. Nowadays, I think dollar. So I think the essence of religion, that's love. And religious people, in order to practice love more sort of effectively, continuously, enthusiasm comes from philosophy, God, faith to God, or faith about law of causality. If I do good, I get benefit. If I do bad, I get a negative consequences. So with that sort of belief, more enthusiasm. In order to develop enthusiasm, then philosophical thinking are necessary. But that not necessarily to non-believer. Practice of love is something universal. Sometimes I describe love is a universal religion. Even animal appreciate that, isn't it? Like that. Okay, thank you. So as a young student, think more seriously these points. If you feel some reasons. Oh.
Well, I was wondering if we could take the bodhisattva.
Hmm?
I was wondering if we could, I know we only have a few questions, but I was wondering if we could take the bodhisattva vow, or if you could offer that. But please, but if not, if time's not, that's also okay.
죄송합니다. 뭐, 아니, 런던 사람에서 6대 2배.
Do you have the text that we could use?
Oh, then no problem, no problem. Just you see, think. You see, entire sentient being, and particularly, this is sentient being on this planet. We have direct sort of some kind of relations, and then other sentient being, we cannot talk, so it's difficult to communicate. But at least 7 billion human beings. You see, there is a way to communicate. So then, try to reduce man-made suffering and try to create a peaceful world. Then, from religious viewpoint, you see, if you lead this very life, sensible life, meaningful life, as I mentioned before, and that's the best way to offer, to be offering to God. According Buddha Dharma, that's the best way to
Repay kindness.
To Buddha. And he himself, through practice of altruism, or bodhisattva, also bodhicitta, Changjujisem, he step by step eventually become Buddha. So Buddha says we all have Buddha nature, as we already discussed. The very subtle level of consciousness is pure. That's Buddha seed. All destructive emotions are something,
They're temporarily arise in our mind, but then they also cease.
So luminosity, the very nature of mind, is pure. So therefore, all the destructive emotion, you see, possible to completely eliminate. So all these negative emotion completely eliminated, that's Buddha's mind. So therefore, we all have Buddha nature, Buddha seed. So now realize that with full sort of courage, self-confidence, and enthusiasm, then try to follow Buddha's teaching. It is unrealistic. All these spiritual experiences at once develop. It's impossible. It is unrealistic, step by step. So I will start my practice from now, and day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, decade by decade. Since it is possible to improve myself So I will try to improve myself. At the end of my life, I try to reach this very mind to a certain level of spiritual stage. Then through that way, life after life, improve. So the Parijapparamita Sutras the mantra, Gade, Gade, Parangade, Parasamgade, Buddhi Soha. So we, through reason, you see, we develop some kind of determination. Now I want to become Buddha in order to some discipline. Now this is step by step. I will utilize all my potential, and then through my own experience, I am going to try to share other fellow human brothers, sisters, as much as I can. Then other mammals, birds, except a few mosquitoes. I never harm them. Even if it's a small way, it's a bird feeding something, a butterfly. And those butterfly, nighttime, because of flying. Then when is about dawn come, then these put in Kasura, in Kasachuti, or safe place, and worm as much as you can. Very pity, since they have no this brain, nothing to help them. So that also reminds us we are very fortunate, human brain, human body. So this wonderful brain, wonderful potential, should not use wrong way, harmful way. This potential, you see, must utilize because of the positive way, meaningful way. Okay. Simply, you see, thinking these things are the practice of Bodhicitta. Like that. Bodhicitta, wow, every day I think I think a few times thinking. That really gives me inner strength, self-confidence. And plus, shunyata practice. I never try to propagate Buddha Dharma to other people. It is very important to keep one's own traditional faith. It is suitable. But those people, you see, who have some interest in Buddhism, then okay. Like that. I think in the past, I think several centuries, many spiritual philosophers consider Madhyamaka philosophy is nihilism. A lot of argument, even within Buddhist different school of thought. The Nagarjuna's philosophy or Chandrakirti's philosophy, they consider nihilism. So there's differences, different views, according to different mental disposition. Okay, but then through practice, then gradually you will learn, these philosophical views, not sort of fully counterforce about negative emotion, as I mentioned earlier. Migde tada shigyade shibujire shade.
So,
Tanzi migde tamji jigshibe shade.
so destroying all and any objectification of things is very important. It's a very powerful way to counter your negative emotions.
But at the same time, not go to nihilistic, nihilism, extreme. So that's real the 젊은이가 우무고머리서 나로리야. 민자 따유상 그 타냐 참고 쉬어야 돼. 우메 따에 탈투베 가사야 니도 사디.
So while rejecting any objectification in things, you should also not fall into the nihilistic view. And therefore, Tsongkhapa, in his commentary on Madhyamaka Avatara, says that in the philosophical system of the Prasangika Madhyamaka, in Madhyamaka system, the most important, the most difficult thing is to be able to assert that things are merely in name and merely nominal.
mere name said ming sam sa ge samre ming sam shebe samre ming mimbe tön yeba da tön seme juba mijikis.
So when you use the term, Tsongkhapa says that when you use the term mere name, it doesn't have this connotation of there's a name but no object as such.
mere said
No, the mere does not refer to there being an object, but not not being an object existent, but mere name exists. That's not the meaning also.
so object there, but if you investigate object as appears, then nothing can be found. So nothing, but that does not mean nothingness. So finally, any object, the ming samle merashita.
So when you actually do critical analysis,
딩 고물루 송디야 쉬어다 데 땡진 잡을 중앙 강 되는 동반이도 셔 되는 때는 다버지 되니 오면라면 노사디.
and so what is left after having rejected any objectification thing is mere name. So even in there, regarding this, Nagarjuna says that whatever arises through dependence is said to be empty, and that itself is designated, and that is the middle way.
Like that. So just a mere name. So we have complete freedom, whatever you like. So this is real sort of difficult point. Difficult point. Thank you. Now come. Picture.